Took so long. So long. Let me clean my wings. Okay. So I just wanted to come and touch on a topic today because it is really it's it's about that time, right? So we know what's all going on in the world right now. Things are chaotic, things are happening, and we don't necessarily understand or know what to do with these things. But I just want to come and talk about it because we need to really kind of gather what we are going to do and what we can do in this time. Ooh, I can I can zoom. Anyways, just checking out the live because I don't ever kind of tamper with it. I have gone live a few times or whatever, but I don't tamper with it. So, anyways, I wanted to talk about God consciousness because there is so much going on in the world. And in order to take power and have our own power and be able to have a say and kind of direct this evolving world into the direction that it's supposed to go, we really need to know ourselves. So yeah, I put some notes on the side so I can kind of keep track of what I want to say and the things that I want to touch on. And all of this is evolution based. All of it is based on knowing ourselves and coming to the Christ consciousness that we need to come to in order to really evolve. Right now is a very, very important time. Right now, it don't matter what time it would be. It could be 2021, it could be 2027, whatever. But right now is a very important time for the future because in the future, they're going to be looking back on us and judging us and critiquing us and blaming us for different things that could be going on in their time. So, anyways, with that said, we have to realize that we are God. We have to realize that we are Christ consciousness. Life as we know it is about to change. Like it's about to change. Like I always can't figure out that word. Exponentially. Life as we know it is about to change exponentially, especially with the development of AI, the changes that are going on in government, the changes that are going on in society, how we are all kind of like coming together and realizing that everything is working against us. And it's always been working against us, like from way back thousands of years ago when religions were being developed and people were coming up with how they want to rule the world. The people who were in power, who had money, who had influence, decided how they wanted us to see ourselves and how the world needed to be structured in order for them to be on top. And in order for them to be on top, we had to not know who we were. Okay, so at the time of Christ, his coming was all about waking us up and us knowing ourselves. At that time, that was the very beginning. We didn't know a lot. We didn't have a lot of technology. We didn't have a lot of books. We didn't have a lot of information at our fingertips. So God, Christ, Christ consciousness, um, allowed for Jesus and other I would say enlightened people or people who realized who they were to start speaking and have a voice and have a mission, right? So life as we know it, like, is really, really about to change. Just when digital coins became available, we should have known that. When the government started to even try to elect Trump, we should have known that. Hi, Fire Edits. Yeah, we should have known that things were about to start changing in the world, and it is. Just with like what is it called? Red Note. You know how like on Instagram people are now going to Red Note and they're actually being able to talk to like Chinese people, and Chinese people are giving them a different reality than they're used to because we've been growing up in the US. All we know is the US education and these systems that have been created for us in the US. But we know that they built this on divide and conquer. But the real divide and conquer was divide you from who you really are, divide you from the God within, divide you from knowing yourself. Because they knew that once you knew yourself and trusted yourself and went with your intuition and had conversations and had powwows and had deep, profound realizations that they were not going to be able to control you anymore. So they needed to take you away from your trust of yourself, which is knowing that you're God, knowing that you're capable, knowing that you're the creator. Hey guys, we are talking about Christ consciousness. I want to just talk about it and hopefully inspire people to really start digging deep and trying to know themselves and trying to ask questions, ask as many questions as possible, right? So a long time ago, all these philosophers were coming about and developing theories and stuff like that. The thing is that everything that someone else already came up with from knowing themselves, we have the access to know these things about ourselves too. We have the bandwidth to just tap in and to really like get this collective thinking going on because we definitely need collective thinking in order to overcome some of these challenges that we are going to be faced with. But we are in the time of Aquarius. And Aquarius is all about spiritual knowing, discovery, um, information, gathering, togetherness, just a deep knowing. Pisces was about spirituality and knowing yourself and like trying to uh, develop belief systems and knowing that that is possible. That's what Pisces is about. And we kind of explored that a little bit with religions and philosophies that people had already come up with at that time. But coming out of Pisces, knowing what we know now, getting the access that we're getting now, we know that it's about way more than just the basics of everything. So imagine what it's going to be in the future. This is 2025. Imagine how much people are going to know about themselves and how much they're going to accept about themselves in 2035, just 10 years from now. 10 years from now, we will have more of a connection to ourselves than even now. Well, that's an opinion, really. To think that the planets don't control your moods is an opinion. It's only an opinion, too. And it's a very this is way too early in life or evolution to even say that you know definitely for sure that astrology, astronomy, planets, energy, celestial bodies, that they don't have an impact on your life. Even the air that you breathe has an impact on your life. Even the people that you are around has an impact on your life. Every situation that you get involved with has an impact on your life, negative or positive. So how can this astronomy, planets, sun, moons, how could this stuff not have an impact on us? Even plants have an impact on us. Everything has an impact on us. The music that you listen to has an impact on you. So if something as little as music has an impact on you, imagine the kind of impact Mars can have on you. Imagine the kind of impact that the moon can have on you, the sun. The only way plants grow and trees and stuff grow is because of the sun. And that is not of this earth, actually. So how can someone say that, oh, the sun, the all this stuff doesn't have an impact on us? That is impossible. That's impossible. How were you even created if nothing has an impact on you? That's just small minded, honestly. That's just really small minded. I understand it based on all the fear mongering that has been going around all of the disbelief and not studying, not asking questions, not seeking, not being curious, not looking inside, asking yourself some questions, asking God some questions, because we don't even question God in the way that we need to in order to understand this universe. But your key reason for existence is to know yourself. Everything about you is curious about you. The only reason why that you don't know yourself is because you're distracted. It's because all these other things, all these other systems have taken over your life. And so you can only focus on those things. But if we took those things away and we were in nature again, if we were immersed in ourselves and each other again, we would understand so much more about ourselves than we do now. But I understand a perspective like that for someone who doesn't have that access. But when you tap in, when you get to know yourself, all these things are added to you for sure. That's not even a question. And you can go all around the world and talk to all these different people, and we're all going to have similar experiences. People who are asking questions, who are searching and trying to know themselves, they know these answers. These answers are abundantly clear. And I don't need to talk to someone else to get this answer. I don't need for someone else to agree for me to know. I don't need for somebody else to approve it for me to know. But I understand that society needs that. Society needs science to validate it. Society needs psychology to validate it, astronomy, NASA, all these other things to validate these things. But if you trusted yourself for real, then you would know the truth. But skepticism is a part of the game. It makes sense. They created skepticism. The skepticism keeps you separate. You have to stop being so skeptical. You have to actually be like, okay, why are so many people talking about this stuff? Why are people always saying that they're having profound experiences? Why are people saying that there's a mystical thing going on? And why don't I understand it? These are necessary questions that need to be asked. And if we don't ask these questions, we won't have the answers. That's the truth. That's the truth. If you never ask questions, you're not going to know the answers. I remember when I was younger, I've always been the type of person that questions everything. I'm a philosopher. I am naturally a philosopher. I was born a philosopher. At 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years old, I was already in the pattern of questioning things so that I can understand and I can be more clear about my own perspectives and my own wants and my own thoughts and what do I think about this. And in order to know what I think about this, I had to ask questions. I couldn't take what someone was giving me at face value. But that's the society that we live in. We live in a world that takes everything at face value, and it's way bigger than that. You do not have a mind of God. You do not know things of God. So, with that said, someone who doesn't believe in astronomy and the planets and how they have an effect on us definitely wouldn't understand that. They wouldn't understand the effect of it because you're too human and separated from yourself in order to really know what is actually going on here. But this is way bigger than you. This is way bigger than your belief systems or where you come from or how you grew up. This is about life. This is about evolution. This is about the future of the planet. So you can really miss me with not understanding the planetary alignments and how all that stuff has an effect on you. It's very small minded, but we have to expand. We have to ask these questions. And with the development of AI, we know that things are speeding up. We know that jobs are changing. We know that access is changing, information is changing, our ability to tap in, our ability to get clarity in ourselves, our ability to build something way different than we even understand now. Because we have to type, we have to put our fingers, we have to like really understand something to get something out of the world now. But with the coming of AI, we're going to have all this stuff at our fingertips. We're going to have these brains, all these collective brains will be able to tap into the source and learn things and evolve things and create more things and then also give us a relief from the struggle of life. The struggle of life is what put us in the system. The struggle of life is why you don't know. The struggle of life is why you feel so lost and you can't resonate with what I'm saying. But the struggle of life brought me here. The struggle of life brought me here. I had so many questions. I just kept asking questions. And because I was asking those questions, the answers were just coming to me. But what is so profound about these answers coming to me is that they were not just coming to me. They were coming to people all over the world with different experiences, different backgrounds, different viewpoints, all of that. They were getting the very same answers. But if you don't question, you can't get these answers. Introspection. We have to look inside. We spent so much time looking outside and looking at everybody else and trying to figure out how we should be based on other people, but it's our individuality that is what is important. The fact that you were born is what was important. Your experiences, everything that you've seen, everything, all the perspective that you have is what's important. All of us are different and all of us have something different to add. For me, I'm a clairvoyant person. I'm a philosopher. I'm a person that questions things and tries to understand, and it's all ways of silver lining. But how did I know that even as a child? Even as a child, I understood that all I needed to do was ask some questions for my own clarity. I couldn't just blindly go along with life. I couldn't just blindly do the thing. Felt like a robot. I felt like I didn't exist. I didn't feel like I was really connected to the world. It wasn't until I started to really start asking questions that mattered to me that I started to really connect with the world. But with that said, that's where God consciousness come from. You can't think that you're going to have God consciousness just, oh, I'm just living life and oh, now I have God consciousness. No, you're going to have to do something, and the thing that you're going to have to do is connect with yourself, introspect, ask yourself questions, ask God questions, allow these answers to come to you from the universe. And it just does. You wouldn't have to talk to any psychics, you wouldn't have to talk to any astrologers, any tarot people. Like, you wouldn't have to talk to anyone outside of yourself to get some of these answers because they would come from people as if they were the astrologer. Random people. It will come from people as if they were the tarot reader or the God without outside of you, right? Because there's a God in and a God out, right? But that God in and out is all the same. We just don't know the difference because we see ourselves as separate. Divide and conquer, right? Jesus knew that he was God. He tried to explain it to the world, but the world wanted to put him on the pedestal. They couldn't see God or Jesus as a being that can come into its own knowing and bring other people into the knowing. Didn't see Jesus that way. But that's what Jesus was giving. That's what Jesus was trying to teach. That's why Jesus went to the mountain and was frustrated and telling God, "Oh, I'm teaching these people. I'm telling these people what you want me to tell them, but they don't understand. Like, I don't want to do this." And then God told Jesus that you're just gonna have to die for them. They're too ignorant. At this time, you have to die at that time. He had to die for us. There was no other choice because we were too ignorant at the time. But as the world evolves, there have been people who've come along that did not have to die, that had special missions and special abilities and special insights and special perspectives that all impacted this world, and they didn't have to be sacrificed in order to get that message across. In that time where Jesus was born, he had to be sacrificed in order to get that message across because people were so anti that message, just like people are anti this message, except for it was much more extreme in an ignorant world who had created religion. And these religions were not created like, oh, yeah, I'm just going to create a religion. No, we were searching for something. We were trying to connect. We were trying to know ourselves. We were trying to evolve. It is important to know who we are and where we come from and what we're here for. If we don't know who we are, where we come from, and what we're here for, imagine the devastation and chaos. If we never find out like that you are God experiencing itself in every facet. But just as God experienced itself in the bad, the Holocaust, the slave trade, the conquering that went all around the world. God experienced all of that as himself, but he's also going to experience the evolution of that, the healing of the world, the realizations of our mistakes, the opening of the mind, the acceptance of yourself. God is going to experience all of that in you. And that's the part that people are having trouble connecting with. That God is experiencing you, whoever you are. Right now is the time to start realizing what we're here for and trusting ourselves. Do away with all the doubt. Do away with all the confusion, the skepticism. Ask the questions. It's okay to be skeptical, but ask a skeptical question. It's okay to be cautious, but ask a question from your caution. Don't just be cautious. Our caution is necessary because caution allows us to get clarity. We slow down. We don't do something immediately because we're cautious. But in that caution is clarity. But where is the clarity if you don't ask questions, right? So right now, with all of the changes that's going on, y'all are gonna be, if you don't wake up, you're gonna be really, really shocked. Like, because I know there's a lot of people talking about it now. There's a lot of people that's talking about it now. So the shock is not as bad as it was 5 years ago. But you're gonna be really shocked when you realize that all of these scientific things are being explained through spirituality. All of these philosophical things are being explained through spirituality. Your biology, your anatomy, all of this stuff is going to be explained with and through spirituality. Science is already connecting that. Quantum is already connecting that. This is the beginning of all of that. So we have to pay attention and tap in now so that we can be a part of this evolution. The more people who tap in, the more access we're going to have to God. And the easier it will be to transition this world into the world that you want or the world that you dream of and envision. Heaven is going to be on earth. We look at heaven as something out there, like something to imagine, not necessarily tangible, something in another realm. No, we're here. We're here. We have to learn first. We have to learn. So, anyways, I have notes and stuff that I want to try to keep myself on track with these notes and stuff. So, the life as you know it right now is an illusion, and the illusion was created by the people in power. The illusion was created by our ignorance. The illusion was created by our fear, but you are the creator. And as creators, we have to create in your own world. I don't know where you are. Maybe you're home in bed. Maybe you're watching TV. Maybe you're traveling. I don't know what you're doing. But wherever you are, your existence is part of this creation that's being evolved. Everything that is happening right now is a part of this creation. And as unbelievable as that is right now, This is only me speaking on something that is gonna happen. I know you don't believe it. I know that it sounds too good to be true. It sounds all woo woo, but the reality is gonna be is that is woo woo is the creation. Woo woo is the reality. We called it woo woo because we wanted it to sound all, this is weird. This is stuff that is like out there. No, it's actually real. It's right here. It's not out there. But in order for us to get there, we have to connect. And all of these creators that are creating right now understand that, especially the ones who are developing this AI stuff. They understand how important it is for us to know who we are and for us to connect and gain our own power and our own understanding. And they're trying to assist us with that. But the problem is that people try not to sound like I'm sounding right now. That is scary for people. I've been this way. Like, this is naturally how I am. I'm just now bringing it to the internet. I've been talking like this. I've been living like this. I've been thinking like this. I've been asking questions. I've been having this personal relationship with God that goes back and forward. You say something to me in the chat, you think that you're talking for yourself. No, that's God interacting. These interactions are necessary. Your words are necessary. Your thoughts are necessary. Your feelings are necessary. But it's even greater when it's in a chat and it can be reflected on, looked back on, dug into, asked questions right here, right now. And in the future, when someone is looking back on this, when all these things have come to pass, when all these realizations have been made, when people know who they are, they're going to review some of the people who said a long time ago that these things were happening. Some of the spiritual people, some of the people who been through this for years and years before these things take place. But you are a spiritual being, and everything about your existence is spiritual. Even the job that you have and what you're experiencing at your job, whatever traumatic relationship you're in, whatever family situation you have. Maybe you have love, maybe you have unity and connection, maybe you have despair, maybe you have abuse. All of that is necessary for the greater whole. It's the yin yang of it all. God is not just a creator, He's a destroyer as well. But that is the yang. It's the yin and the yang. God is not just the tangible thing, it's the things that you can't see as well. You are not just your body, you are the aura, the spirituality around you. You are bigger than your body. When you go in a room, people literally can feel your energy. When you're talking to people, people can literally feel your energy. That is not just a saying. That is a thing that is happening. They're feeling you and you're feeling them. You're also feeling this earth. Your animation is coming through the planet. That's why they say, oh, ground yourself. Ground yourself. All of that is not woo woo. It's not just people saying things and like, oh, I hope you get it. I hope it makes sense to you and I hope it resonates. And if it doesn't, just fake it. Act like me. Don't be real. Act fake. No, that's not what it is. This is premonition. This is God knowing everything before it happens. It's necessary steps like mathematical equations. I need the one and the two and the plus sign and the equal sign to get three. I can't just have, you know, It just can't be all random. All of it has to equate to something. Just like you were conceived. You couldn't be just conceived by your mom. Sex had to happen. Sex had to happen. And had to be spermatozoa, and it had to enter the cell. And at the time of that entering the cell, there was a mathematical equation that happened, and it created you. But it needed all of that. Without that, there's no you. This is you. But without the equation, there is no you. I need this part of the equation to add to this part to become. But with that said, everything that is happening now had to happen. All of the atrocities that we've experienced on this planet had to happen. All of the ignorance, you not questioning things had to happen because we haven't been questioning things. When we do start questioning things, those questions and answers are going to be so profound. Hello. Hi, Mateo. Mateo. Thank you. My daughter had a cat that she named Mateo. That's really crazy. But yeah, I mean, it's just necessary. We're just at the beginning of something that we can't understand. But everybody is trying to understand it. Scientists, researchers, profound thinkers, even your child. I don't care how old your child is. Your child could be two. Your child is trying to understand stuff. That's why your child learns to talk, walk, listen, read, because the mind is hungry for understanding. But we told ourselves that it was bad to ask questions. We told ourselves that it was bad to seek. Yeah, I'm talking about God consciousness. The fact that right now we're in a time where we don't understand our connection to spirituality and how everything around us is spiritual. Our existence is spiritual, and that we're evolving and this world is changing crazy fast, and even faster once AI gets really developed. But that doesn't do anything but give us space and time to really make decisions on who we are, what we want, and what we want to do, and how we have to do it. But we have to do it through connection. We have to do it through connection. Because if we're not connected, then we can't create what we want to create as a collective. I could take a piece of clay right now and mold something myself. But imagine what you could do as a collective with molding everything, the universe, yourself, your kids, your life, your story, the world story. Extinctions are happening because of us. The planet is being destroyed because of us. We have to start asking questions. We have to. And it starts with questioning yourself. Be more introspective. Be more introspective. Why are you on YouTube? Why are you up this late at night? You know what I mean? Why are you watching me? Why am I here? Why am I speaking? What would make me so compelled to say these thoughts that are coming out of my head? This is not crazy talk. This is well thought out, and very intentional. I've been having this channel for a long time, and the intention of this channel was to share these things that are happening. But so many things that were happening, I couldn't share at the time because I was going through my own struggle and my own equations to get me here. I knew that it was powerful. I'm going to sleepy. Bye. Have a nice day and a good night. Bye, Mateo. But yeah, so I'm creating a presence online so that I can keep bombarding you guys with this knowing, keep bombarding you guys with these questions. These things are happening. People are becoming spiritual, and they're becoming more spiritual now because of our connections, because of our social media connections, because of our YouTube connections, because of our access to the internet. Spirituality is growing much faster now. The only reason why we created religion is because it's spiritual thirst inside of us. But that was just the beginning. Now we're moving to a knowing. Now we're moving to a deep craving and fulfillment. This world that is coming, it seems that no one has any idea what is about to happen. There has to be catastrophe though. Before we get what we want, before we go where we're headed, there are some things that still have to happen. And some of it is going to cause us to suffer. People are going to lose their lives. People are going to lose their livelihood. People are going to lose everything that's connected to them. And then some of us won't. But in this time, it's going to make us speak. These are the times that we became more religious as people. In the times of turmoil was the times that we were looking for something deeper. Something help me. I can't get the government to help me. Something bigger than me has to help me, right? It's that something bigger than you. But he has to get us to a state to where we're all needing it together. But with that said, there are some things that are going to happen. I don't know exactly how these things are going to play out, but the powers have to fall. The dynamic has to shift. The powers that be have to lose power. They have to. And I don't know what that looks like. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know what that feels like. All I know is that I want the other side of that. I want the conversations that happen because things have fallen apart. I want the curiosity that comes with not knowing what to do next and what that gets us. Because without the curiosity, we can't get anything. Nothing, nothing, nothing. We can't get nothing without the curiosity. And I don't know anything else but curiosity. But I realize that no one else in the world is living like that. No one is questioning things. No one is trying to add to themselves so that they can do it in a way that they can be proud of. And the reason why I'm so proud and why I'm here so confidently is because I asked the questions that were necessary to bring me here. And that means asking questions out into the void or asking questions inside. But these answers came and they continue to come with interactions, development, life, animals. Like Just being outside sometimes can give you answers. Listening to the radio, watching TV, being on YouTube, Instagram, talking to a coworker, talking to a friend, talking to your kids. That's how these questions get answered. But if you're not asking questions, I don't know what to tell you. You're just gonna doubt everything because there's no surety in you. You only have believed what you were told. You didn't have your own concrete knowing and understanding and your own perspective that you can be confident about. People question my position and my confidence. How do you know these things? How do you feel these things? How's that thing? It's how's that existing inside of you? I don't know. It just always has. It always has. And it existed because of the questions that I asked. But I had to ask that first question in order to be able to ask that 3,000th question. By the time I asked that 3,000th question, I had so much more clarity than I had when I asked the first question. Philosophy should be the way of the world. Philosophy should be how we live. Philosophy should be our understanding, should be how we move. But we don't even understand the philosophical mind. We don't understand philosophical thought. It's just going deeper. It's asking the deeper questions. Oh, I'm sad. Why? Why am I sad? Oh, because I stumped my toe. Well, how did you stump your toe? What were you doing? Well, I was walking. Were you paying attention? No, I wasn't really paying attention. Do you know that thing is there? "Mm, yeah, I knew the thing was there. So what you see what I'm saying? Every question gets you to another question. That was just a random nothingness. But imagine if that was a scenario of substance. I would challenge you, especially if you're Christian or whatever your religion is, to look at the person that you have pedestalized in religion or in um, beliefs or spirituality or whatever. Who have you pedestalized? I'm going to use Christianity as an example because that's the history I come from. That's what I know. Question Jesus, but those questions look like, what is he saying? What is he talking about? How is he so passionate? How is he so sure? How did he get access? The Bible and its interpretations would tell you that, oh, this is, it's something outside of him. It's something outside of you that you can't understand that created this God, that created this Jesus. But the truth is that Jesus understood himself and he understood his connection to everything. So when he was talking about the Father, he wasn't talking about his father, like, oh, it's just my father, it's no one else's father. It's all of our fathers. And when he saw himself as the son, he sees all of us as the son. All of us are the son. And if he's the father and we are the children, then I can have this same knowledge, this same access, this same knowing, trust, faith. I think about Jesus walking on water, and I don't remember who was it. Was it John or Paul that he called out to walk on the water with him? And he's like, "No, Jesus, I can't walk on water." It's just like, oh, ye of little faith, right? Like, that should make you ask questions by itself. Oh, ye of little faith. Okay, so my faith is too small, right? Because my faith has to be too small for Jesus to look at me and say, oh, ye of little faith, you cannot walk on water. But then he'd say, put your trust in me. He grabbed him and he pulls him out onto the water with him. And I don't remember who, John Paul, whatever. We're walking on the water. And he was distracted. The water was turbulent. I don't know, fish, whatever was happening. And he got distracted and he lost that faith and he started to sink. And then Jesus reached back out to him, reminding him of his faith. And he began to walk on water again, standing on water. These things are profound. These are not things to just take into your psyche. These are things to understand. These are fundamental things that we need to understand about ourselves. My confidence is crazy. My faith is crazy. My understanding, my knowing, it's on another level. And it's hard to explain it to people who haven't experienced it because all they can hear is the thing they don't understand because they haven't asked enough questions. But me with this understanding, this is nothing. This is just me trying to help, me trying to wake people up, me trying to be like, hey guys, it's bigger than you think. This is more important than you think. Right now is more important than you think. You are more important than you think. It is. All of this is so much more important than we understand. But all I can do is be here and try to speak on it and just share my perspective, share my understanding. And I ain't the first person who had these thoughts. I ain't the first person who have had these experiences and these realizations and these questions. I'm not the first one. This is biblical. That's what the Bible was all about. Understanding God through acts of faith. Think about Shadrach, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, right? Nebuchadnezzar threw them in a lake of fire. He's like, yeah, let's see how strong your God is. Let's see how strong your God is. Let's put you in the fire. Can't nobody survive the fire. That's what Nebuchadnezzar is like. Nobody can survive the fire. So let's put their asses in the fire, and then they won't learn because they're gonna die. But it'll prove to everybody else that these people are delusional. And then they're watching this fire. There's three brothers in the fire. Where'd this fourth body come from? How's this fourth person moving around in this fire? That should have intrigued you to ask a question, not to have blind faith. No, that's useless. Blind faith is not faith at all, honestly. Blind faith is no faith at all. I am here on purpose. I am sharing this message on purpose. I have these perspectives on purpose, and it's bigger than me. just this body. This is universal. Just like you are supposed to be here living your life, I'm supposed to be here too, living this one. But this one has inspired me to speak out on things that people don't necessarily understand and they don't question. I've had so many experiences with this perspective of questioning things and curiosity and exploration and acceptance, openness. I understand that my thoughts are not like God's. I only live on planet Earth. There's a whole sun in the sky. There's a whole moon. There are stars and planets. And how can I understand the mind of that God? But through myself, I have to only just stay here with me. God got all that, got all this. But my lips have to move to speak on my own experiences. My heart has to speak on my own experiences. I can't tell you about Cindy. I don't know what happened to her. I don't know her life. I can't tell you about the moon. I'm 40. I can't I just wasn't here. I can't tell you about dinosaurs. I can tell you that I have seen UAPs. That's really interesting. I have seen a lot of spiritual stuff. I've experienced a lot of spiritual stuff. I asked God to verify that I am who He wants me to be and that I'm experiencing what He wants me to experience. And I've been challenged with what He wants me to be challenged in by coming to me as a man. I needed that verification because I was going through it. And you can only imagine how I was going through it just listening to my perspective right now. But I was going through it in a major way in religion with these thoughts, with this understanding, with these questions, with this validation, with this clarity. So you can only imagine how much I needed God at that time. So I was like, okay, you want me to live this life. This is what you want me to be experiencing. Well, in order for me to know this is real, it has to be so crazy that I'm like, oh yeah, no, I'm yours forever. I'm yours forever. Like we locked in. Like I know you real now. I requested that God come to me as a man in the flesh. The ultimatum was that I was not going to speak to God anymore. The ultimatum was that I was just gonna be like, ah, that's not real. Like something got to be wrong with me because God didn't come as a man. God did not come in the flesh. But wouldn't you know that God did come in the flesh? That it would be impossible for me to be sitting here and having these conversations and having these realizations and creating these platforms and YouTube and all these things to speak on this stuff if he hadn't come. It wouldn't be possible for me. It just wouldn't. I don't need to prove it to you. I want you to see me. I want you to see me because one day this stuff is gonna be common knowledge. One day, this stuff is not gonna be things that you questioning, like, oh, is this real? Is this real? One day, you're gonna be like, validate me with this information. Give me who else is out there? Who else knows? Where can I get this information one day? And it may not happen in your lifetime. It may not happen in your lifetime, but I believe it is, unless your timeline is shorter than, that time. But this world is about to change, and y'all fixing to find out just how real God is, and just how your existence is possible, or the planet's existence. Think about it. This planet is just floating around in space, controlled in an orbit with two poles and a sun and a moon. How is that possible? How is that possible if this thing is not quantum? It's so quantum. It's just like, it's hard to explain it to the average person. But there are people who know what I'm talking about. And those are the people who I want to connect with. Those are the people who I'm looking for, or people who are curious about this, people who are seeking themselves, who has some type of philosophy on understanding or trying to understand, questioning, gaining clarity, being guided. I asked for guidance a long time ago, and I surrendered myself to it. I don't know exactly what evolution is going to bring us, but it's definitely going to bring us peace, comfort, beauty, purpose, fulfillment, connection, freedom, power. We're going to look back on these times that we're living in now and think, how stupid are those people? How stupid were they? Like, how did we come from them? How did they survive? We're going to look back on this one day as a species and be like, what? They elected Donald Trump? We're going to be like, what? They did not believe in their spiritual connection? How did they think they were just floating around in the universe? How does it they think they stayed in orbit? How do they think that their limbs were animated for life in their mother's womb? How did they think they were surviving off of water and food? Like, how was it if in the future it's not gonna make sense how we don't know what the heck we know. The only way it's gonna make sense is that We were ignorant, and the world needed to evolve. Your life is the blueprint for the future. Your life is the blueprint for heaven on earth. My life is the blueprint for heaven on earth. I would be considered the 1%, but I think I'm way less than 1% because people cannot relate to me. People do not understand what I'm talking about or what I be saying or where I'm coming from or how I even got here, how I even said, or they don't understand. They don't be getting it because they literally don't understand a person that is trying to be as Christ consciousness as possible, trying to understand as much as possible, trying to make the best decisions at all times, trying to be the most moral, trying to be the most reasonable, the most respectful, the most comprehensive, the most intuitive, live in my most gratitude, just trying to be my best self in all aspects. People are trying to be their best selves, but I don't even think that people even get the tip of the iceberg of that best self concept. The tip of the iceberg with being your best self is what, looking the part. That's only the very tip of that iceberg. But there's so much more under the water when it comes to being your best self. And it takes introspection. We have to start questioning things, guys. You have to start deciding, what do we want to contribute to the future? How can I show up now so that the transition is smoother on this evolutionary path? You can say what you want to say about me. You can call me crazy. You can say, like, I don't know what the heck going on with her. Just like, I don't know, she just be whatever you want to say. You can say whatever you want to say about me. I'm choosing this. I love this life. I love this curiosity. I love this understanding. I love this introspection. I love me. I love everything I create, how I exist, how I feel, how I live, the decisions that I make, what I create. I'm a real creator for real. I'm an artist. I'm a real creator for real. I'm not limited. I know what I'm capable of. I know my abilities, and I've capitalized on them. I've done everything that I thought I could do. The only thing that kind of tripped me up was that backflip. When I thought I could turn a backflip, and I could have turned a backflip, but I would have needed to be stronger. I would have needed to have better balance. I would have needed to be faster. I just would have needed a whole lot of other things in order to really turn that backflip. But that was the only thing that I tried to do and I wanted to do that I could not achieve. And that was very devastating to me. I think I was like 9 or 10 years old when that took a little bit of life out of me. When I realized I couldn't do the backflip and I was never going to be able to do it. I could have done it. I could have worked on it or whatever, but I was focused on other things. But I've always known my abilities and how capable I am of doing everything. And I never held myself back. I never limited myself. So I'm an artist. I do hair. I'm a massage therapist. I'm an intuitive. I'm a tarot reader. I'm a mother. I'm a, spiritual guide. I am, I could go on, I guess. I could just go on forever, I guess. But when it comes to creating, I don't hold myself back. I don't limit myself. And I haven't seen things in life that other humans can do that I don't think or know that I can do. And I also try them if I get a chance. I don't get a chance to try everything, of course, but if I get the chance to try something, to challenge myself or to um, add something to myself, I do. I try it and I succeed. I succeed, meaning my ability to do that thing. Even getting online right now should let you know. Being here, talking about this and how people can't relate. You do not understand this. And that's fine. I'm gonna keep showing up. I'm gonna keep talking about this stuff. I'm gonna share some stories. I'm gonna share some experiences, some perspectives, some challenges. I'm gonna share. We can talk about it. But with that said, if you have any questions, I hope you do. Um, if you have any questions, please get in the comments. Ask me. Give me something to come back and talk about. I'm gonna be creating these things to talk about myself, but curiosity makes it easier to talk about some of these things. Um, so yeah. Well, you know, I've been on here for an hour and 7 minutes now. I'm just talking about the stuff that no one can relate to. Um, and I guess I will just come back and talk more about this stuff when I'm next inspired to. And I was inspired to talk about this stuff tonight. But yeah, I just have so many things to talk about, and I don't know where to start. So curiosity kind of gives me a direction, like tells me where to start when it comes to like sharing some of these stories and perspectives that I want to share with you guys. Um, I've had a lot of experiences, a lot of freaking experiences, even down to reincarnation. I remember some past lives. This stuff seems so unbelievable. I'm just sister. I'm just Shakina. It's like, how can this be my story? Like I see people online, I see people telling their stories, like people who are talking about reincarnation and stuff like that. And it's like, oh, that's them talking about their story. And I felt like it would be too much for me as sister because I know myself, whatever. But if you don't know me, it's different. But to be sister talking about a reincarnation story, or to be sister talking about spiritual experiences that I've had, or seeing something. open up in the roof while I'm laying in bed and being observed. I almost didn't want to share that. I almost didn't want to tell my husband, who was laying right beside me, what I had just experienced. I almost didn't want to tell people that I had met God. It's like these things that I'm experiencing are so like different and unheard of. I haven't heard people around me talking about this stuff. So it just felt like almost like I wasn't allowed to talk about these things. Almost like I had to act like none of these things happened to me or that I'm not who I am and I'm divinely connected. Ooh, it's crazy. Y'all would not believe how divinely connected I am. Even down to my name is Shakina or Shekinah, Hindu Shakina. And that means God manifest or God in the flesh or divine spirit of God or God among us. What? Like, what? I've been questioning things since I was born. I've been coming up with answers to things that I don't even know. Like, it's just coming from God. It's just coming from everywhere. Questioning my elders about their just picking people's brains, just trying to, what do you have to offer? Like, what insight do you have? What experiences have you had? Who are you? Where did you come from? What have you seen? This is how I've lived my life, and it's really grown into something that is, I just can't. I'm still in awe. I'm still in awe of my own life, for real, especially knowing where we come from as a planet and as species and where we're going, and then how I fit into this, knowing these things, experiencing these things, questioning these things, having these insights, having these curiosities. Anyways, please feel free. Ask me to tell you some crazy question or some crazy experience that I've had, and I will gladly, because that's what I'm here for. That's what I created this page for. Anyways, talk to you later. Thanks for watching. Um, please like, share, subscribe. I'm gonna be back and I'm gonna talk about this stuff more. And yeah, have a good night.